splitting hairs, actually. But my point is, that dude got that kind of game in him. And I'm bringing that up for a reason. Because that Kevin Love thing is broken. It's absolutely broken. And
he'll be a Laker next year.
The other thing about that, that points out is players, and we talked about this last week when we started the podcast, just be players. Like, this whole thing about LeBron trying to construct this team, that ain't your move, man. Like, you don't watch no film on these dudes. You be playing when they playing. You're not watching no film on Kevin Love to see how he's going to fit. He's a terrible fit. You know who would have been a better fit? The young boy that you sent to Minnesota. Because all he going to do is rebound, defend, and fill in the wing. Y'all can run up and down the court all game long. One, because he young, athletic, can jump out the gym. Now this boy, some kind of way, done found him a little jump shot. Andrew Wiggins, he done found him a little jump shot. Now, like, this dude is exponentially better today than he was when the season started. That's outstanding.
But you know what? But you know what? It's one of those things, Mike. Now, and this is where you got to be kind of cautious when you start making that comparison, right? Because anybody with game that played on Minnesota, whether it be Andrew Wiggins or Kevin Love, are going to get those touches.
You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. This is a kid who don't need touches. He's just an athlete. Like, for what you want to, like, put it this way. Remember how things started out in Miami? Where it was just like alley-oops and him and Dwayne was just running up and down the court. Right. That's what you want. Right. You got a dude in Kevin Love that don't fit. He wants to slow it down and play down low. You telling this dude he a stretch four. He's coming out and verbally saying, no, I'm not a stretch four. Don't call me that. Then, okay, what the hell are we going to do? This dude didn't play in the fourth quarter yesterday. Are you kidding me? This dude was a perennial all-star and couldn't get on the floor in the fourth quarter. You couldn't find, David Black couldn't find a place for him in the fourth quarter.
But I blame him. That's who I blame is Black. Look, and again, Charles Barkley is another dude that's much like Shaq. I really don't take what he says with a grain of salt, right? But last night, watching the game, and because Charles knows the game. Now, all of this other stuff, about analytics and all of that, I don't want to hear him. But Charles knows the game. And the one thing that Charles Barkley has been adamant about the past few years when it comes to LeBron James is that because LeBron is so much bigger than most people, like, LeBron needs to, at some point, he needs to be willing to go down on the block and work. And Coach Black, in that game plan that they have, that part, that's non-existent.
Nah, because then what you're trying to do, you're trying to get a dude to change who he is as a ball player. That's the same thing you're doing to Kevin Love, and it's not working. Like, these dudes are creatures of what they do. You traded away a dude that was going to do exactly what needed to be done: get rebounds, defend, and fill lanes on a fast break. And throughout the season, you would see him improve. He's a good enough athlete to where he would improve. That's why they drafted him. That was the book on him when they drafted him. Because I remember in one of the last shows I did, this dude texted him like, "You're an idiot. How is the number one pick in the draft a project?" Because I called him a project. I said, very easily, idiot, because he can't shoot. He doesn't have very good handles, and he's just a very, very good athlete. That's how he's a project. And now I remember talking to Branson when LeBron made the decision to go back, and this Kevin Love started coming up. And initially, everyone was talking about that scenario, that fast break that included LeBron and Kyrie and Andrew Wiggins. But then LeBron made it very known that he wanted Kevin Love. He wanted these people to trade away their last 2 first-round picks. Like the Anthony Bennett thing, of course. He was a bust from day one, right? But this Andrew Wiggins thing had a very, very, very good probability of being real. And it's real. So, no, I'm not talking about touches or points or stats or any of that. I'm talking about just who he is as a player.
Overall, just the fact that he is an athlete.
Right, versus what Kevin Love is. Kevin Love is just not that guy. He's a guy who needs to be fed in the post area.
Yeah, but now here's the other thing about the whole LeBron, Andrew Wiggins deal is that, LeBron was, and I hate to be one of these Twitter dudes, right? But LeBron was on Twitter congratulating, like, other players on getting drafted, like, congratulations, bro, you deserved it, da-da-da-da. Like when Andrew Wiggins got drafted, like, there was no mention from LeBron. Like, when LeBron signed and all that stuff, Andrew Wiggins said he never heard from LeBron. You know, other players on the team were hearing from LeBron. He never called him. He never said anything. He basically alienated Andrew Wiggins. And when you start hearing that and hearing, you know, every time they would interview Andrew Wiggins, they'd be like, "So you heard from LeBron?" He'd be like, "No." Well, the writing was kind of on the wall.
In the letter that he wrote, to Cleveland, he was like, "I'm excited about coming back and playing with blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah."
He didn't mention anything about him.
He did not. He did not. And you know, like I say, that's you get into that real crazy territory when you start letting these players play GM. That's not their bag. LeBron is he's a great basketball player, one of the greatest of all time. But a GM, he's not. Like, these people make their money breaking down athletes and seeing how they fit in certain systems. Just because a dude is a good player don't mean he's gonna necessarily fit. And Chris Bosh tried to warn that dude. He told that dude it's gonna take a sacrifice out of you. Cause the dude wearing number 23 ain't gonna sacrifice. And the kid that's already there.
Well, number 6. Please. Number 6. Not 23.
Well, yeah, he's wearing 23 now, but yeah, the dude wearing the Kyrie Irving's not gonna sacrifice because he's been there. So
right.
It's gonna come down to you. Yeah, it's gonna come down to you, big boy. Run that. And now the interesting thing is gonna come down to this playoff scenario or the playoffs itself, because what I was thinking about yesterday while watching Kyrie just go ham, I was like, yeah, here's the deal. LeBron looked like he was real happy. It's kind of hard to tell because he never really looks like his emotions are really that authentic. And I'm not saying they're not, but he just always looks kind of awkward to me. When it comes down to these playoff games, when you're talking about like one possession games and it gets tight in the fourth quarter.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah. Who you looking at? Like you seen what Kyrie can do, right? Who you looking at?
Ice cold. Ice cold.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna say that because the scenario there's a high probability that scenario does play out just because of how close the teams in the East are, and teams are getting healthy now and getting ready for their playoff runs.
Now let me ask you this. Since you brought that up, now if that does become a scenario or situation, and I'm sure headed into the playoffs, you got to talk about that, right? I would think. I mean, I've never been in the NBA locker room, but I got to think that at some point the coach got to talk about that, right? Now,
I don't know that you necessarily you bring it up beforehand, but I think it's one of those things that if there's 18 seconds left on the clock and you're in the timeout and you're Coach Black and you're drawing up the play, it comes up then. Like, who are you drawing up the play for? You know what I mean? Like right now.
But I mean, because what I was gonna say is, how D Wade, once LeBron got to the Miami, you remember how D Wade kind of just took that back roll and was like, if the play got to go through somebody, let it go through LeBron.
Well, that too, that was because his skills had eroded too. Like his body had broken down and betrayed him so many times. Anyway, he was just in that position.
So if Coach Black draws up the play, and it's for Kyrie to take the final shot, I don't
think he cares.
So are you thinking that LeBron doesn't take that well?
No, I don't think he cares. I think the other way around though. I think it becomes the issue if it's the other way around, because like that dude, people don't even give Kyrie the recognition that I believe he deserves. Like, people don't understand how big of a man he is. Like, Kyrie's like 6'3". He's not like no 5'11" point guard, and he got handles. Like, he keep that ball on a string like a yo-yo, and nobody can stay in front of him. Like, he hit dudes with like 3 hesitations in a row, and the next thing you know, he's at the
last night. Hey. Boy, did you see last night? Hey,
and he's strong.
He might have went through between the legs and did like a double crossover.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, boy, he had played everybody on the court like this thing.
He just silly with the handles, man, and he's strong as hell. Like that and one he got at the rim off that offensive rebound, like that's something like your power forward does that, not your point guard. He caught the ball in midair, finished, and took the contact for and one. Come on, man. Like, that dude is the real deal. Everyone has just been waiting for Kyrie to just become more consistent with it. That's all it is. And now he's got a running mate. I just always, and it's like, the whole spill milk situation. Like, the scenario that was presented initially, during the summertime about that Andrew Wiggins thing. LeBron has to feel like he's playing himself now because they don't really need okay, if Andrew Wiggins give you 12, because that's basically what Kevin Love is giving you. He ain't giving you a consistent 20-10 no more like he was doing in Minnesota. Last night, what he had, 4? Something crazy?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole. I mean, you just mentioned when you talked about Chris Bosh, that's that whole Chris Bosh, I'm going to sacrifice my stats for the team type situation.
Right.
I mean, because when Bosh was with Toronto, he was averaging 26 points a game, 25 points a game. And when he got to Miami, there were moments that he went for, what he had been averaging in Toronto, but for the overall time that he and LeBron played together, those 4 years, I think he averaged 18 points a game.
Yeah, something like 17, 18.
Which is a tremendous drop-off when you're talking about being the leading scorer on the team.
Yeah. Did you read this thing about Pat Riley the other day? This kind of struck me. It made me actually think of you when I read it. Actually, how he's like LeBron. Pat Riley seems to think that the players on the Heat let LeBron leave. He doesn't know how they allowed him to leave. What does he say? He says generational teams stay together. The players stay together. They know what they have. They see what they've won. They see that there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment here, and they don't want to leave that. You may never get it again. The other quote was, that was almost shocking to me that the players would allow that to happen. Like, what? He's a grown man. What you mean they allowed it to happen? They wasn't going to tie this dude.
You know what? No. Well, see.
I knew it would kind of touch something in you. Go ahead.
No, what you got to do is you got to think about who this is. You're talking about a guy that, for the most part, when he was coaching the Lakers, before, free agency really became the big thing, their team stayed together. And I'm glad you brought this up because I thought about it yesterday, but their team stayed together no matter what. I mean, the core of their team stayed together even after Pat Riley was gone.
He actually mentioned that.
Those Laker teams stayed together, much like those New York Knicks teams stayed together before he got there and after he left. But it's one of those, nowadays, I mean, it's kind of one of these things where the league has changed so much that really and truly, in any professional sport, championship teams don't even usually stay together 4 years. Like, for Miami to be able to get a 4-year run out of LeBron, Bosh, and Wade together, that was something exceptional. Because when you think about a lot of these teams that win championships, either after the first championship, everything gets blown up. Like when you look at Major League Baseball and look at a team like the Marlins, right? They'll win a championship, and then they'll blow the team up.
Well, that's kind of their business model, though. But most teams try.
Yeah,
the Giants, they're not doing that. They still got their core, their Buster Posey.
The New York Giants. You're talking about the New York football Giants.
The San Francisco Giants. The baseball. You talking about baseball? I'm talking about baseball. Yeah, the Giants.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm just saying, but it's across the board, though. Like, you see these teams win championships, and usually something happens. You go back in history. You can even go back to the 80s, the late 80s, and look at a team like the Detroit Pistons. Like, they went through, they made some key adjustments during that 2-year run, when they won those championships. I mean, even prior to the year before they actually went on their 2-year run, they made key adjustments. So for a team like the Miami Heat to be able to keep that core three together through, for 4 seasons that was enough in itself. I mean, because you really don't see that in sports these days. Like, even in football, look at the Patriots, right? The Patriots are in the AFC Championship game almost every year. But the only constant on those teams are who? Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Well, see, again, you talking about a different business model, though. I mean,
but I'm just saying.
Of course, the Heat was going to be together for 4 years. They all signed 4-year deals.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But just across the board in sports, like you at some point, you usually see, like when you have a dynasty, you usually see it get blown up. Like the Patriots dynasty, when they did, when they were winning in the early 2000s, like it went away. The Lakers thing, Kobe and Shaq couldn't coexist. It went away. So at some point, in situations like what was going on with the Heat, like at some point that thing was gonna have to. They were gonna have to go their separate ways because